Good evening, everyone. Nostalgia Goggles 3 here. This is it. What we've been leading up to all season, the NBA Finals. Without further ado, let's get into it. I'm excited. I hope you're all excited. Tonight, we face Utah Jazz for the first of what's hopefully only 4 games. Whoa. Why is it letting me set the Jazz roster? That's weird. Huh. Alright. Let's try that again. There we go. So we'll try the lineup that performed the best. The only time we met the Jazz after the trade deadline. We'll start them, and then next we'll go to the hero lineup from last night. Incredible plus minus of 41, our blowout against the Knicks. We got Bogut, Westbrook, Murray, Jones, and Wright. Before we go any further, 10% of anything I make tonight goes to the Retina Foundation of the Southwest. They're doing good work. They're trying to cure blindness. Curing blindness is good. Support them. There's a direct link in my Twitch profile or in the YouTube description. I'll take that approach. Let's simulate this one. We all know how that would go. It would go extremely well if you're a Jazz fan. If you're a Jazz fan, this may not be the stream for you. I can't promise this is going to be pretty for Utah. All right, they lost a star on ball control. Let's do this. What's up, Spitz the Greatest? Welcome to the finals. Woo! Wait, why do they have home court advantage? That doesn't make sense. Oh, you know what? We don't have the regular season records. That's why. We just had to start the playoffs fresh because of the untimely death of my Super Nintendo cartridge battery. So we went right to the playoffs. Well, I was number 1 seed in the East. So they probably have a tiebreaker like team rating or something like that. But you know what that means though? That means we win the ring at home. So if I don't screw it up. Silver linings, that's right. I will take any silver lining I can get right now. Copper lining, brass lining, pewter lining, whatever lining you got. I will take it. Murray had a bit of a rough game last night. See if he can step up in the finals. This would be his second consecutive finals appearance after winning a ring with the Rockets previous year. He gets to start it off right. Not Sharon Wright, though he's in too. All right. I like the way this is going. Oh, never mind. I do not like the way this is going. That's it. We're done. Utah's going to get a ring. Ugh. Give up. Forfeit. We're suspending our season. Goggles are coming off. It's over. Hang it up. Well, thanks for hanging with me. I'm Nostalgia Goggles for 3. Hope you all have a good night. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's go back. Ah. All right. Timeout. Sorry, this lineup. Can't let that keep happening. Go Murdoch. Davis. NBA MVP Dale Ellis. Popeye Jones and Sharon Wright stay. Whoa. Crowd even cut off the announcer announcing the 3. Hope you enjoyed that lead, Utah. It's the last one you're getting. Oh no, the mailman says otherwise. Should have scheduled this game on a Sunday, so the mailman wouldn't deliver. However, Ellis has not missed a shot. Actually, I don't think anyone's missed a shot since I put this lineup in. So there we go, Murdoch. I can only imagine how Spitz the Greatest would have reacted had we missed that layup. Been a long day, you're too tired to be angry. Well, that's good. In a sense, I guess. Celebrate every win. Good long day or just long? Yeah, I know, not as long as his day is, right? After that shot. That was one of the worst air balls we've seen this year. And we have seen some stuff. Especially odd as they have been shooting well. There we go. Oh, Popeye Jones. Throwing it down. So that's why I love offensive rebounding. Get stuff like that. Oh, that's right. Happy birthday to Mrs. Spitz the Greatest. Long hike. Very nice. Ha. On the drive home, you got a flat tire, so you had to change to the spare on the driveway. Yeah, that does not sound like the best way to end. There we go. Jones. Woo. This does not go our way. It's kind of fun to work on your car. Ever since you got a new one, you haven't had to. Well, that lineup did okay. Not great, but okay. But their time has come. NBA Rookie of the Year, Damon Stoudemire. He struggled in the playoffs thus far. We'll give him another shot. We haven't actually run this particular lineup in the playoffs. I changed the way I did my accounting slightly in terms of giving Stoudemire a pass for that terrible Spurs game. It dragged all of his lineups down. And this one actually did extremely well, but we only used them in one other game besides that Spurs outing. So we'll give them a go. Malone's having a big game. I think he's already outscored himself from our regular season matchup. Oh, Felton Spencer says, get that out of there. All right. Fourth chance point. Tracy Murray. Just think of it as a path to a triple-double, right? I mean, how many offensive rebounds did he get on that play alone? Silver linings. All about the silver linings here. Nostalgia Goggles for 3. Respert for 3. Respert had a pretty good regular season, but he's just been dominating the playoffs. That shot notwithstanding. Wow, that was a heck of a behind-the-back pass. All the way to cherry picking. Yeah, this lineup's not going great. There we go. Thank you, Utah. Take you out, Murray. Look, he's already got 14 points. I only gave him 2 rebounds for that? 2 rebounds, and none of anything else. All right. My patron wants me to take out. He's going to sit down. Murdoch. See a lot of him tonight. Respert is staying. Ellis, of course. Just talked about that. Jones stays, and Teron Wright. Yeah, I was gonna put Ed Pinckney in, but he's not in this lineup. He was in the one I was gonna put in. Still have Murray, so we'll just have to wait. There's a guy in the perimeter we didn't see during the regular season, Greg Ostertag. We didn't have enough creative player slots during the regular season, but with the start over, I decided to just focus on the teams that were in the playoffs. This was Ostertag's rookie season. He had a bigger role on the Jazz teams that went to the finals in real life, but not as big a role as like your Tyus Edneys on the Kings, for instance. Sharon. All right. Not the play I called, but a lot is forgiven when it goes in the hoop. Oh. It's Jones. Get that. Jones is getting tired. If I'd known that was going to be not a layup, I might not have been had him shoot it. Wow, 76% field for the Utah Jazz, but a lot fewer attempts. Turnovers must be high. I really wish that they showed us that, since they do track. So Ostertag sitting down. I think the Slams did okay. We'll let him have some more time. Jones not too tired to stuff that one. Ellis hits the 3 in traffic. Showing again why he is the MVP. Murdoch with a great steal. Bad luck. Respert covers it. Nope. Wide open. Nope. All right. Time to sit these guys. Yep. And just like that. So that's something that I've found interesting in the playoff here. I don't know if you've noticed this, but yeah, when it's bad, it's bad. But this lineup was doing well right up until that happened. And so that's something I've been noticing more recently. That we'll have lineups kind of flop like that. Like usually they kind of go great for a long time, but these guys haven't been in that long. It's only like 3 minutes of game time. So I don't know if that's because we're in the playoffs now or if that is related to the other differences that are happening right now. No, that's what I'm saying. It was, I mean, it happened, but usually it was like we've run these guys for a quarter and a half and everybody's exhausted, kind of thing. Didn't, I don't recall the whistle. Although I don't know, it could also be confirmation bias. But I wasn't looking for it before. I'd have to go review all the tapes. Whoa! Jeff Hornacek knows Kung Fu. My... Hornacek usually good for plays. Right now is no exception. Murray in traffic. That is indeed one of those unknowable idiosyncrasies. We go from original software to emulation. And that's the thing, right? Like, there's no such thing as perfect. Like, even if you are on an original hardware, on a CRT, as intended, you know, the CRTs are all dying. The capacitors in the original hardware are all dying. It's really hard to know. And it's fascinating how just like a little bit of a difference can matter when it comes to recreation. I mean, heck, what is original hardware anyway? I mean, are we talking... Ugh, that is not original hardware. I don't know what it is, but it wasn't that. So, I mean, with the Super Nintendo, for example, they had several motherboard revisions. I wasn't quite as dramatic as the Genesis, but I mean, a lot of people would say that the third model of the Sega Genesis might as well have been a clone console. It wasn't really made by Sega. They just licensed it out to whoever it was. I'm blanking now. But I think the Model 2 Genesis is Genesis. I think they had a different sound chip than the Model 1. Pinckney! Get in there. Yeah, I know, for instance, that the waterfall effects in Sonic 2 were designed. They never. It's funny. They never looked like I remembered them looking in my childhood, and I just learned recently that they were designed to take advantage of a quirk of the way CRTs draw lines across this. Oh, that's no good. Anyway, the way CRTs draw lines across the screen, so they cannot. It has nothing to do with emulation. They cannot look the same on Pinckney. Ed, you're killing me. On an LCD television that they do on a CRT. It's just like the way the transparency works. Jerron. think they did do all the hard work. Got the one fake. And then missed a 6-footer. Jazz still shooting remarkably well. Don't need to triple team John Stockton, I guess. No, that's quadruple. That's screw it. But just all guard him. Can't buy a 3. No. I know you've been trying to buy me one. Don't think I don't appreciate it. Alright, we'll leave Bogues and Rustford and nope. And we'll leave Pinckney. Sure that'll make you happy. Ellis and Antonio Davis. Who had a slow start to his playoffs, but been doing well in the later rounds. Whoa. Rebound Bogues. Wide open. That's it. Alright, Fitzgerald has an example. Not an emulation idiosyncrasy, but one between two pieces of identical software. Alright. Do tell. I really hope this is going to be an NFL 2K5 start. Muggsy. The steal, taking it in. That basket purchased for us by Dr. Ambassador Dortmunder, patron at our Buy a Bucket tier. Thank you for your support. Duh. You had a Spider-Man video game that you played to death. One day you let your cousin borrow it and you had it for a few months. You decided to rent the game because you enjoyed it that much at your local shop. That bucket purchased for us by Tim Troy, humanitarian and philanthropist. You fired it up on your Genesis. It played very different. Alright, like how? What sorts of stuff are you experiencing? And which Spider-Man game? Separation Anxiety? Spider-Man and X-Men and Arcade's Revenge? Get that out of there. I'll get back on D. Money. That's how you end a half. And you get your lemonade. Dale Ellis. Quiet half for him, only 39 points. 1 block. John Stockton, well on his way to a double. Best example you have is that there was a feature where at any time Spider-Man could fall into the sewer. A sort of hidden stage never made much sense to you. Alright. That doesn't sound familiar. This must have been the other Spider-Man game that I never played. When is the trading deadline for the NBA? There's a formula for this. I think it's like the 3rd Tuesday in February or something like that. I don't know. But what I do know is I want to say thank you to my patron, humanitarian and philanthropist. Fits the trade, Dr. Ambassador Dortmunder. Thank you. 10% goes Retina Foundation of South West. They're doing good work, envisioning a world without goggles. Trying to protect. I'm not affiliated with them. And if you like what they're doing, support them. My Twitch profile or the YouTube script. All the hours you played the game, it had never happened to you. You weren't even aware it was a thing. Within like the first 2 hours of playing the rental version, you fell into the sewer. This lineup went pretty quick. I'll stick with it. Forcing turnovers. We made shots. Jazz are still shooting amazingly well. What if they shoot 75% for the game and lose? And not like a little, like we're blowing them out here. Well, I guess if we keep blocking shots, they'll go down. Getting physical. Even before that, the enemies didn't seem to be where they were on your copy. They took more damage to kill. And killed you quicker. You were old enough to know to check the settings, and everything was how it should have been. When you got your copy of the game back, everything played like you remembered it. Well, I wonder if it was a revision thing. There were games back then that had different revisions that weren't marked. Like sort of like patches or something. Maybe something they did up the difficulty. Yeah, Respirate. If you had that D, you can take the shot. Oh, never mind. A lot of times there's not a big difference. The first time I became aware of it was my copy of NBA Jam that I had as a kid for the Genesis had Charles Barkley in it. And then I had encountered a friend's copy where they had replaced him with Dan Marley. And I was surprised about that. But what happened was Barkley, in between when they first released the game and when they reprinted it, they lost the rights to his likeness because he signed an exclusivity deal with Acclaim to make the all-time classic Barkley Shut Up Jam. Stoudemire, Davis, Ellis, Jones. So I believe that was the only difference between the two productions of the original NBA Jam was to get rid of Barkley when they didn't sell the. But I do know that there were other games like that. And still others where regional differences were significant, even aside from the language. Like I have a force feedback steering wheel for the GameCube. I'm probably the only person who has one of those anymore. Funny part is I actually got it before I got the GameCube. I was thinking of using it with an adapter to my N64. But now, as I've mentioned, I have a GameCube again. So I was looking into if there are any like Gran Turismo Forza style games for the GameCube, and there aren't really. One of them is Auto Modelista, which was Capcom, the cell shaded racing game. Oh, that's not very nice. Which, oof, that was almost very bad. You can't stop him. You can't stop Dale Ellis. And so I had remembered reading middling reviews of that game when it was new. And I was just reading recently, I guess the Japanese release of the game had different handling physics. And they made it more arcade-like for the US market. But the consensus from what I seem to be reading was that the US version of the game didn't satisfy anybody. It was too realistic for the arcade racers, and it was not realistic enough for the sim crowd, but that the Japanese game actually compares somewhat favorably to the Gran Turismos of the era. So now I need to region mod my GameCube and check that out. Dale Ellis, 21 3-pointers. We're still in the third quarter. Yes. That number stays at 21. That's right. You got to miss a few. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a realistic basketball simulation. Otherwise, we'd have something silly like Muggsy Bogues being second place for blocks in the playoffs. Wow! Right, realistic basketball sim. I said. What is happening here? All right, we gotta just regroup. Boy. Davis, Murray, Jones, and Wright. Yes, Davis. Shoot it! Oh, Carl! That hurts, Carl. Oh, Hubert. Come on, buddy. You're better than this. I'm not going to call timeout over it, but next dead ball, he's sitting down. Nobody breaks a free throw that badly except me. Wow, their field goal percentage took a dive. I mean this in a nice way, but you guys are playing the worst basketball of the season in the playoffs and still winning easily. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we are playing better teams more consistently in our defense. Other than whatever it is that makes us just destroy the Bulls. It almost feels like there's some kind of logic in the game that prevents created players from contributing as much. I noticed like Jordan and Barkley and Magic Johnson weren't on any of the leaderboards, which is kind of weird. The regular season, it didn't feel like the quality of the opponents mattered. I would disagree with that. I think we did destroy the Bulls, but we only beat the Jazz by 40, which is a funny thing to say. Both times we played them. I mean, we were regularly beating teams by 70 and 80, even by the time we played them the second time. So I lied about that dead ball, by the way. This lineup's doing way too well to take them out. These guys stay in until they stop doing so well. There you go, Stoudemire. That's for you, Spitz the Greatest. Patron at our Buy a Bucket tier. Thank you for your support. I also think our standards have gone up a little bit. I mean, Dale Ellis scored 120 points last night without even trying. I think it just takes a lot more to impress us now. Our goals are also loftier. We're trying for things like scoring 200 in a game or getting a quadruple double. He finished the game with 119 yesterday. And we won by almost 80. It was barely even noticed. Exactly. Murray's lost his touch, but they can finish the quarter. There we go. Our standards are skewed. If we don't win by 80, feels like a loss. Oh no. Jeff Hornacek's just taking us apart. I mean, winning by 50, but he is not missing shots. Stoudemire. Nope. Score 119, but the next night we're asking, what have you done for me lately? Exactly. Wow, their field goal percentage just cratered. Wonder if a lot of that's a block shots. I'm going with third Tuesday of February. The 16th Thursday of the season. There you go. Yeah, that lineup served us well, but that ship has sailed. Stoudemire, Davis, Murray can stay. I'll go Ed Pinckney, Antonio Davis. Give Damon some more minutes. Try to get the poor guys plus minus up a little bit. Oliver Miller's been having a rough time since the deadline. No one has suffered in the playoffs as much as Damon Stoudemire. But I do think a lot of that was the Spurs game. We tried to get him to 100. He just wasn't ready. We put too much pressure on the rookie. And so a lot of our best Stoudemire lineups got their averages all messed up in that game. So we didn't end up running them. Look at that tonight. Showing why he won the Rookie of the Year. He was a great defensive player for us during the season. Less of an offensive contributor than he was in real life. But, I mean, when you got Dale Ellis scoring 120 and nobody notices, that is understandable to a degree. Nope. Davis. Nope. Bullet time pass. The bullet time in the air, two-hand overhead passes might just be my favorite thing about this game. Don't see it often, because I certainly don't dare try it, because they would pick it off every time, or I would just throw it right out of bounds. But I do enjoy when the AI does it. Oh, Malone. Brutal. There you go. Remember Davis coming away with it. 55 might be our largest lead of the game. We'll let these guys sit before they get overtired. Don't want any injuries in the finals. So Murdoch. No, not Murdoch. We'll go Bogues. Respirate. Ellis. And I think you can stay. We'll put right. Yeah. The Jazz couldn't have played much better. This is just demoralizing for them. They've given up a lot of turnovers. Like when they're getting shots off, they're shooting well, but they've turned the ball over a lot. I think we're just missing that because it doesn't track that stat. But I mean, if you look at the shot totals, and especially considering how much they're out rebounding us by, it's kind of astonishing the shot differential in this game. But that's why in this case we're not just up because we're shooting so many threes. Because we've certainly had games like that before, where the other team was shooting well, but our shots were just worth so much more. What? So I think what happened there was I tried to get a rebound. Sharon Wright already had it, so he took a shot that somehow was behind the backboard. Take it, yeah. And then it bounced off the backboard, and I picked it up. Nope. Get that board pink. I was only deflected from the backboard. I was like really grazed the bottom of it. Well, that makes more sense. I was trying to figure out how it wasn't out of bounds. But all the same. Lucky bounce. But in terms of the Jazz not being able to play much better, and it must be demoralizing. That part is probably realistic. The mid-90s Jazz are one of the best teams in NBA history. Karl Malone, John Stockton, one of the all-time great duos. Right up there with Jordan and Pippen. And they just couldn't get a ring out of it. There you go, Sharon. Whew. That was fancy. Oh, they figured it out. Took a page out of our playbook. Greg Ostertag, no match. Sharon Wright. Pinckney. Nope. Sharon. Great offensive rebounding. Nice. Respert again with the steal. Again with the triple. No. And Respert gets nothing. That out of there, John Stockton. Not in your house. Thank you. Ugh. Come on, Sharon. He's gotten more second chance points than we usually get. There we go. That's game. 1 down, 3 to go. Player of the game, Dale Ellis. Only 75 points. Yeah, 47 rebounds. I forgot to go long enough to see the shot chart, the shot differential, rather. I'll check it out here. Yeah, look at that. We took, what, 17 more shots than they did. And we were out-rebounded by a lot. Slow night, indeed. 75. Wright is in double digits. A bunch of other players close. Murray, 67. So much closer point spread than last night. Sharon Wright also 8 rebounds. Pretty respectable. Precious few assists. I got 24 for Karl Malone, 35 for Stockton, 22 for Hornacek. That's a big 3, sounds right. I will say these Jazz played a lot more like the Jazz I remember watching as a kid than the Jazz did during the regular season, in terms of how they were being competitive. Now, Karl Malone had a double-double, at least. 10 rebounds. Hornacek did, too. Felton Spencer had 10 rebounds. So many boards. And Karl Malone led the team in steals. Had 9 assists. I'm very curious to see the quarter-by-quarter breakdown here, both for us and for them. So, I mean, in terms of playing bad basketball, like, we shot above 50% in every quarter, and mostly from 3. So that's not too shabby. So then Utah, first quarter 76%, second quarter 70%, third quarter 34%, fourth quarter 29%. Just got taken apart. Jones did pretty well. Murray 50-50. Sharon Wright take out that heave, and he had another monster game. Quiet night for Restford, percentage-wise. Salas didn't get as many minutes. Percentage-wise, he did pretty well. I'll save this. Game 2 of the finals. Quick check of the playoff leaderboards. Of course, we'll let Karl Malone have a good game, so he's going to be competitive up there. But look at that. We still have 2 players ahead of him. Take that, Malone. And the rest of the chart has returned to normal now that we have stopped manipulating it. Sharon Wright still shooting an incredible 84% in the playoffs. Not a lot of takes, but yeah. Better than some. Hubert Davis still somehow on the leaderboard there. Ellison Wright. Despite that horrible mess, I would have just thrown him right off the leaderboard. That one shot alone. And Davis now on the offensive rebounding charts. Still not defensive rebounds, though. Muggsy, whoa! What happened to Muggsy? That's weird. I thought he was higher. Wasn't he higher like last night? Wasn't he like number 2? Or was I reading Sean Rustford and just really tired? I'm gonna have to look at that. That's weird. I don't like it. 'Cause a lot of these teams haven't played. Oh well. We've already mentioned that the stat keeping's a little suspect in this game. So, just further evidence, I guess. Just because I get paranoid, we will save one more time. It's tradition at this point. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a really good weekend. And then next week, we'll hopefully complete our sweep the NBA playoffs and become the 1996 NBA champions. I'm Nostalgia Goggles 3. Have a good night.